and today I'm here with my March wrap up. It's gonna be a long one, I'm sorry. But yeah, I did a mid-month wrap up, so if I'm gonna talk about them really quickly in this video. If you want to know more about my thoughts on those books, check out that video, which will be linked down below, hopefully, if I don't forget. I'm gonna start off with some stats for the month. In this month I read 20 books, from which I only owned 5, so know what the month is gonna be. And in total I read 6,576 pages. I read, for my TBR challenges, I read 3 books that are out of my comfort zone, 7 sequels, 1 a new book, 3 TBR vets, and 1 book built from my TBR jar. For star ratings, I have a little bit all over the place. I have 1 1 star, 3 2 stars, 4 3 stars, 9 4 stars, and 3 5 stars. And then for authors, I have read 10 books from female authors and 10 books from male authors, which is 50-50 split, which I think is the first time I've ever done that. And then for age ranges, I have 5 children books, 9 YA, and 6 adults. Then for genres, again all over the place. For contemporary, 6 fantasies, 1 horror, 1 graphic novel, 2 non-fictions, 4 mysteries, 1 historical fiction, and 1 dystopian. It's all over the place. Told you that. And this month, I read a whole lot of ebooks, which editing me hates me already, because that's gonna be a lot of overlays. So, so sorry. Let's start with the books from my month wrap up, which I'll just quickly go over the title and my star rating, and if it's a galley from that galley, I'll also say that, and the release date will appear on screen. But if you want to know the plot or my thoughts on them, check out my mid-month wrap up, which again is linked in the description. So yeah, first book I read in March is Home Home by Lisa Ellen Agostini. See the galley off to Net Galley, and this book I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Then I read Season of Storms by Anders Sarkowski, which is back at the library, and I gave 1 star to. Then I read Inspection by Joss Malerman, which is again back at the library, and I gave 4 stars to. Then I read The Complete Persepolis by Marjan Sabchapi, which I gave 4 stars to. Then I read The House of Hades by Rick Riordan, which I gave 5 stars to. Then I read The Genius of Women by Janice Kaplan, which I got a galley off to Net Galley, which I gave 2 stars to. Then I read The Iron Daughter by Julie Buxbaum, which I gave 3 stars to. And then lastly, for the mid-month wrap up, I read The Night Country by Melissa Albert, which I gave 2 stars to. So then, for the books I haven't talked about yet this month, let's begin with my favorite of the bunch, which is also just the order I read them in, and that's Yes No Maybe So by Becky, Albertalli, and Aisha, Saeed, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. This book is about Jamie, who his cousin is the campaign leader of this local politician for this local election, and Jamie has been working behind the scenes with his election, and his cousin has been pressuring him to go canvassing, but he isn't comfortable with that, so he hasn't done that yet. And then we also follow Maya, who is in the middle of a Ramadan, which is going terribly because her best friend is ignoring her and her parents are separating. And basically in the beginning of this novel, there is this event for the Ramadan, but also the local politician is going there and doing this stuff, you know. And Jamie and Maya meet at this event. Meet again, I should say, because their parents used to be best friends, and therefore they would also hang out a lot as children, but as they've gotten older, the contact between their mothers has just they've drifted apart, and therefore the two of them also have. And now at this event, their mothers basically forced them to go canvassing together, and both of them are kind of against it in the first place, but then they really get into it and actually also start caring about the politics, even though they're both too young to vote, but they get passionate about it all. I really love this book. As you can tell, I'll give it 5 stars. I think this book was made for me, which sounds dumb, but it has just a lot of things I love in this book, and it's probably, I wouldn't say that it's for everyone. Like I said, the thing that is made for me is just very specific humor that just vibes at me very well, and so it had me cracking up laughing constantly. I love the friendship dynamics in this book, I love the family dynamics in this book, and I like the romance between our 2 main characters, which throughout most of the book is a friendship, but eventually turns into more. I really enjoyed their friendship, but also went on board with their romance. Not was oh my god, I would prefer if you stay friends. So I really like that. Also, the topics discussed in this book were topics I was also very passionate about, and it was just a lot of things said in this book just like, oh my god, finally someone who agrees with me. And the next book I read is Admission by Julie Buxbaum. I don't know if I pronounced that right. And I gave this book 4 stars. This is another gallery I got from that gallery, and this book is based on the admission scandal, which I'm sure you've heard about. But basically we follow this girl who one day, like, she opens the door and there's FBI were there. Like, not FBI, there's policemen. I don't remember which fraction they're in. But really there's policemen there to arrest her mother on the basis of what, and the main character is like very confused about what's going on, and turns out her parents have basically faked her college admission. They hired someone to help them get their kid into higher colleges than she's actually capable of. And follows like a dual timeline. One is where the main character is taking the SATs and like she's applying to colleges and stuff like that, and then the other timeline is current day. Her mother is arrested and there's this trial going on, and she is also accused of knowing about this and basically being called trash. Well, she didn't really know the extent of it. She wasn't involved. The parents didn't talk to her about it. I really enjoyed this book. Again, I don't know what I was expecting from this book, because I feel like with the topic of this you can very easily excuse their behavior, and I think even though my main character is like very clueless about what's going on, she's like constantly beating herself up about it, and she knows that what happened is wrong and she feels bad about it. And she's also, what I really liked is like she had like the internal conflict of like, did my parents really think this was necessary? Did they really think I wasn't capable of doing this on my own? And did they really think I'm that dumb and stupid? And I think that was an interesting like inner thought process. I also have like a little bit of contact with like other children that were involved in the scandal, and it also was, even though we don't really get to see it secondhand, just like text messages, I really thought it was interesting to see like how these different kids also interpret the scandal and how each of them was also involved in a different way. I thought this was an interesting take on like the whole scandal. I don't know too much about it. Oh, I thought this book had very interesting family dynamics. Also some stuff going on with like her friends. She has, oh, main character, her best friend. Like, her mom is a famous television person, oh, main character. I forgot to say that. And she goes to like a private school, and then her best friend is like a poor girl who got into this private school on a scholarship, and she's having a lot more struggles with college admissions, also because she is a person of color, and the discussion between the two of them is also interesting. The next book I read is Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I almost dropped it. It is 4 stars. This is Michelle Obama's memoir. I don't know if I have to explain anything more about this, but yeah, I read this for God knows what reason. I don't know why, but when this came out, I was just like, I'm interested in this. And I couldn't explain it because my mom was like, why? And I was like, I don't know, I just am. And I finally got around to reading it. I know why now, because Michelle Obama is a incredibly interesting and empowering woman to read about, and she has gone through a lot. And I don't know, if you want to be empowered, read this book. But I dug the star because I don't know why, but it just drained all brain power from me while reading this book. Like, the writing style isn't difficult, so I don't know how this happened, but whenever I was reading it, just like my brain like clicked off. It's like, we're not participating today. And then I discovered that Script was doing a free 30-day trial. You didn't have to put on like any credit card info, which they're doing now because of the virus, and I went wild. This is where a lot of ebooks come in again. So the first book I read on Script is Coraline by Neil Gaiman, which ended up giving 25 stars. This book is about a girl named Coraline who ends up moving into this house, and kind of a lot of things in her life are like not really what she wants them to be, like very small things. And one day she discovers like there's a door in like, no, it's like in a room in a new house. She discovered like a small trap door, which if she opens it, it has like a brick wall. But then one day she opens it and like the brick wall is gone, and there's a tunnel, and on the other side of the tunnel there is creepy alternate life. Basically the alternate side is basically the same, except it's like other parents, and these parents basically treat her the way she wants to be treated from like her first parents. And basically every one of the small inconveniences she had in her life are fixed, or seem to be fixed there, so it seems happy. But at the end of the day, she wants to go back home, and basically her other parents threaten her. I've been wanting to read this book for a while because I watched this movie as a child twice. I had very different experiences each time I watched it. First time I watched it was in school on Halloween, and they picked like a scary movie to watch, and they played Coraline, I said Caroline, they played Coraline, and I was in love with it. Like, I love this movie so much, and I came home that day and I told my mom about this movie that we watched and that I loved, so she went out and bought the DVD so I could watch it more. And then a couple of days after, I ended up watching it at home, and I was terrified. I don't think even I finished the movie the second time because I was so scared. Ever since I've gotten older, I've been meaning to read the book. I can definitely tell why as a kid would be terrified of this book. Now I wasn't. I think that's the reason why I gave it 3 stars. Like, this time, like now reading it as an 18-year-old, I wasn't scared at all. Everything just felt very surface level. I don't know if it was predictable just because I remembered everything so well, or if it just because everything, I don't know, it felt like there was no real depth to it. Like, everything was so easy to kind of like figure out and guess because everything was so much on the surface level and there wasn't really any growth. And I don't know, it's a fun, spooky story for children who will be terrified if they read this. Like, if I was a kid right now, I would be so fucking scared of this book. I know that for sure, and this would be like, I would love it, but like I would be scared of it, you know? So it's a 3 star because I can't recognize how this is like terrifying as a kid, but like now we're just like Then I read As Kismet Would Have It by Sandhya Menon, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. This is a novella that comes after When Dimple Met Rishi, and it's about Dimple and Rishi and them kind of having a roadblock in a relationship, which is kind of having like these different ideas on something, and the novella is basically them working that out, and it's really cute. If you love When Dimple Met Rishi, I recommend you read this because it's just cuteness and fun, while also putting in an interesting discussion topic. But if you were kind of like mad about When Dimple Met Rishi, like, this definitely isn't like a necessary novella to understand everything. It's just like a fun extra. After reading this novella, I discovered that the rest of the series of unfortunate events is on the app. So I binged the last 4 books. First book, talk about is book 10, which is The Slippery Slope by Lemony Snicket, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. I just love this all. By the way, the next series of unfortunate events is about 3 children, the Baudelaires, who, like Violet, who is an inventor, Claus, who is a researcher, and then Sunny, who is a baby, and she likes to bite things. And one day they're like out by the sea, I believe. I don't remember what it is, but like a body of water. By the beach. I think it's called a beach. Yes, they're by the beach. And a man comes up to them and tells them that her parents have died in a terrible fire, and they're now brought to their closest relative, who is Count Olaf, who, shocker, isn't actually a relative to the Baudelaires at all, and is actually a evil man who is after their fortune. I love reading this world so much because it's so innocent and whimsical and so witty as well. Like, it feels magical to me even though there's like no magic involved, but I don't know, I feel magical when I read these books. This book in particular, Claus and Violet are split up from Sunny throughout most of the book, and I thought that created an interesting dynamic. Because Sunny is alone in this book, you can definitely tell how much she has grown up, and I thought that was so interesting. And I know we learn a lot about VFD in this book. It's very interesting, and yeah. Then I immediately moved on to the Grim Grotto by Lemony Snicket, which I gave 3 out of 5 stars. I wasn't too big of a fan of this one. I think this was kind of boring a little bit. I really like the books where the Baudelaires are basically on their own, where they don't have like an official guardian. And this book felt, again, like they had a guardian. And I don't know. I didn't like it. I feel like the stakes were less high. I don't really know what really happened with this book. I just didn't really connect with it that well. I thought it was actually really funny. I laughed a lot throughout this book. But yeah, I just think it was a little bit repetitive, and I was a little bit bored reading this book. Then I took a small break to read my last book from my TBR, and Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead, which I like rated 4 out of 5 stars. In this world, there are 3 sorts of vampires, which I'm going to read off. We have the Moroi. I don't know how to pronounce that right, by the way. If I pronounce anything wrong, I'm so sorry. We have the Moroi, which are mortal vampires. Basically, they are your typical, they're not your typical vampire. They are just humans, but vampires. I don't know how to explain this. They age they die of old age, but they feed of blood of humans, like a vampire would. But they also have elemental magic, and basically the more I don't know how to pronounce any of this, I'm so sorry, also are the royalty of this world. Not all of them, but like the royal families are all Moi. And then you have the Dampir? I don't know how to pronounce any of this one, I'm so sorry. Who are human Moi mixes. And basically they're humans, but like with extra strength. They don't even need to drink blood. They just are stronger than an average person, but also stronger than a Moi. And basically they are like, they get trained to be guardians to the Moi and protect them. And then we also have Strigoi, which are the typical vampires you know and love. Immortal, violent, suck blood, kill hell in daylight. Strigoi, they can feed off regular humans and vampires as well, but they get stronger by feeding off of Moi. So the Moi are in danger, which is why the vampires are guardians to them. So we follow Rose Hathaway, who is a vampire, and she has basically grown up to the side of Lisa. She's basically grown up with Lisa, who is a Moi, and she's a princess, fun fact. And even though like Rose is still in training, she's basically Lisa's guardian. And then 2 years before the start of this book, Lisa and Rose run away from the academy because something bad happened and they weren't safe anymore. So they ran away and have been surviving in the real world for 2 years. And at the beginning of the novel, someone from the school gets sent, like finds them and brings them back to the academy. Turns out the academy is more dangerous than the real world. Who would have thunk it? I really like this book because I don't think it is the typical vampire novel. Like I already explained to you, it has very different vampire lore than most things. That was all very interesting. It created like an interesting setup, and it also delves into like a lot of serious topics. I also wasn't expecting. Especially because in the beginning, it felt, besides just like the interesting like lore, it just read like very basic YA, and it's like, oh, I don't know, I'm gonna like this. And then like the second half got really good, and it was very action packed and just went places and went dark places, and it got so good. Moving on to the rest of the ebooks. You're only gonna get ebooks from now on, so blah blah blah. The next book I read is the Penultimate Peril by Lemony Snicket, which is the 12th book in the series of unfortunate events, and I give this 5 out of 5 stars. This is my favorite of the series. I really like this one because a lot of, like, basically almost everything from your first 11 books accumulates into this book, and a lot of like old characters show up in this one again, and a lot of topics from the earlier books get brought up again, and it's really shown how the characters have grown and how they learn from these events and how these events have changed them. I feel like this book is the most action packed of the bunch. There's just like a lot that happens in this, and the beginning is very different from the ending, and how the way this ended was very interesting as well. Then I of course immediately had to finish the series with the end of Lemony Snicket, which I ended up giving 3 out of 5 stars. I was very disappointed by this because I don't know, after the Penultimate Peril, this just felt lame and like a setback. Again, this felt very much like a book that had a guardian over the last, which wasn't the case, but like it felt like one of those books, and I just felt like, really, after what we just been through, we're going through this shit again. It feels worn and boring as well compared to what just happened. And also this book, no answers were given in this book. This didn't really feel like a satisfying ending. This didn't, like most of the book, this didn't feel like a finale. I very much towards the end of the month got accepted for like 2 galleys that came out in March. I was like, why? Like, so I just quickly read them on the last day of the month. The first one being Otaku by Chris Kluwe. I don't know if I pronounced that right, I'm so sorry, but I ended up giving this book 25 stars. This book is about a girl who lives in this world where like real world kind of gone to shit, but there's this technology, and like in this world there's like this big game, and I mean character is kind of like is the leader of like the top team of that game, and because she's a girl, she gets like a whole lot of hate as well. And in the real world, she ends up discovering like this conspiracy, and that brings her real life in danger as well. And now she has to also be a hero in the real world, not just in the fictional one. Can you tell I didn't care about any of this? My problem with this is that it felt a lot like Ready Player One, which I didn't like, but less problematic, but also just like not really enjoyable. I don't know, I didn't really care if anything was happening. I don't think anything that was happened in the book was very innovative. I thought it felt very much the same as books I've read before. The problem I had with this book that really like is that it has a lot of like, how do I say this? That's a lot of woke rants, let's put it that way. But just like a lot of moments, like social commentary moments, you know? But they felt like an afterthought. Just like you wrote a book and they were like, wait, this isn't woke enough. And just like threw in a couple of rants that just like didn't make sense with the plot. That last book I read this month, finally, is The Mixtape to My Life by Jake Martinez, which I'm gonna get it from Nagel. Gave 4 out of 5 stars. And yeah, I wasn't expecting to love this one as much. This is about a boy in the 90s who is gay, but not out at all. And back in the day, like a couple of years ago, he was bullied for being gay, even though like wasn't out, but, like, you know. And this guy defended him, and ever since that moment he has a crush on this guy, but like this guy moved away. And now, when the summer in the 90s, I don't remember exactly. This Gaiman character is at band camp, and one day he returns from band camp back home. Someone is moving in next door. Turns out to be the guy that initially stood up for him. That was a couple of years ago. And yeah, it's about their romance. I wasn't expecting too much from this book in the beginning. I don't know why. I just feel like in the beginning it was a little bit cliche, but like towards the end it hit hard. Like it hit hard. I was crying. Like it was the middle of the night and I was crying, like sobbing because of this book. I think this isn't the best book in existence because I feel like a lot of like the characters are a little bit flat. The romance develops like very quickly. It's very much like insta love and it's not developed well at all. The family dynamics were playing a big part into the actual plot aren't really explored that well. It packed a punch. It delivered a message which was supposed to do. This is voices for both the Latinx representation and the gay representation. Also, kind of just like a thing that I wonder why it was unaddressed, like the love interest at certain points where there's like very red flags. Like it never gets addressed. I'm just like, it's a little bit weird. But yeah, that was it for today's wrap up. If you had any of these books, let me know in the question below what you thought of them so we could discuss them, as well as what are some of the books you read in the month of March. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Good.
Here I am again, the same old situation. Why does the God thing have to be so complicated?